Welcome to the second video on A-20B tank busting, and today we're going to talk about the low angle attack dive technique. This is a technique I use when obstacles around a tank prevent me from using a shallow angle attack dive, and this low angle technique gets me as close to the target as possible at bomb drop while providing sufficient vertical space to stay above nearby obstacles throughout the dive recovery. Now there are many different workable approaches to accurately put a bomb down, and many ground attackers prefer to drop high to eliminate the threat posed by obstacles down below, and some have gotten very skilled at those high drops. I prefer to practice attack dives until I develop a feel for how close down I can get to the target and still avoid the obstacles, because accuracy is easier the closer you are to the target. But I'm not going to lie, you will see in the example mission coming up that my obstacle clearance margin can be razor thin sometimes. However, I can also promise you if you put in enough trial and error practice, you will develop a very good idea of how far you can push the envelope on each and every dive based on visual input and experience. I've worked out this low angle technique for several different aircraft types, and not surprisingly, each aircraft is different. The A-20B is the only aircraft that I do not pull the nose trim back to 100% tail heavy to ensure the fastest dive recovery possible. I just stick with the default nose trim. I found that the nose trim is just not as effective in this aircraft as in others, and the A-20 is infamous for having a very low G tolerance. If you pull the nose back too fast for too long, it will snap a wing. A smooth dive pullout is necessary. You can pull the nose back quickly for a brief instant, but sustain that pull and you will lose a wing. Much like the vertical space margin for dive recovery, how far you can push the A-20 before it snaps is something you need to work out in practice missions. I define a low angle attack dive as a dive between 25 and 35 degrees. Regardless of the specific angle you prefer, consistency is key. I pulled these 19 screenshots off a random practice mission, and all 19 attack dives fall between 28 and 34 degrees. More importantly, 13 out of 19 fall between 31 and 33 degrees, a 2-degree deviation. I intend to work on that until I get those angle deviation numbers reduced further, because a consistent dive angle provides consistent visual cues throughout the bomb run. Now this is how the technique works. Start at a pre-dive altitude of 2,000 to 2,300 feet. As stated already, nose trim is default setting. I set the engine manifold to around 35 to 36 and RPMs around 2,000. Usually I have the outer cowlings generously open because when I'm in the bombing mode, I just don't have enough brain cells to monitor engine temperatures. I'm using the 20 FAB 100 loadout option, and bomb delay is 5 seconds. Identify the target prior to diving. That often requires lots of rudder and shifting left or right in your seat to look around the nose, but if you try to select a target during the dive, the time you spend searching around, analyzing, and making a decision is critical time taken away from making a good target lineup. After you ID the target, but before you start diving, the target will be temporarily obscured by the aircraft nose. Try to find a terrain feature to the far rear of your target that you will be able to line up on just prior to diving. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get you in the ballpark of the target so that when you put that nose down, you can quickly reacquire the target and begin lineup. As far as when to start the dive, I wish I could tell you when the target is around here, start to dive, but it's not like that. We're not flying perfectly straight just before diving, and the nose angle can make exact visual cues problematic. Knowing when to start your dive depends on the attack dive angle you intend to use, and something you can only assimilate after some practice. At the beginning of the dive, I do a basic target lineup. Because there are no vertical and horizontal crosshairs on the gun sight, it's a little harder to determine and maintain a straight target lineup. I draw an imaginary vertical line from the gun sight center dot down to this split in the lower center of the windscreen cowling and align the aircraft nose with the target using that imaginary line as a baseline reference. At the same time, I'm making sure the aircraft is aligned to my preferred dive angle of 31 to 33 degrees. Obviously, I don't have a protractor in my head, but I've practiced enough to have a fairly good idea of what that angle should look like from the cockpit. If you find after some practice that you prefer a more shallow angle around the bottom end of the low angle dive spectrum of 25 degrees, your sight picture will, of course, look a little different. Now, if I started my dive at the correct distance from the target, I should be pretty close to a 31 to 33 degree angle already, and I make small up and down adjustments as needed. Since I want to maintain target alignment, I don't pull up so much that the tank disappears under the lower windscreen cowling notch. When I'm satisfied with the dive angle, I place the tank between the center gun sight dot and the bottom of the gun sight and freeze the position of the stick. I hold that stick position until the tank moves below the gun sight circle and toward the bottom edge of the gun sight glass. When the bottom edge of that glass splits the tank in half, I hit the bomb release button and immediately start dive recovery. Now for a dummy like me, this bottom edge is the perfect no-brainer indicator for when to hit that button, but it only works for attack dive angles in the neighborhood of 30 to 34 degrees. If you're using a lower attack dive angle, say around 25 degrees, your sight picture at bomb release is going to look more like this, with that bottom glass edge above the tank somewhere in this area. Now here's a couple of tips. If you see at the start of your dive that you began the dive too soon, which means you're too far away from the target and your dive angle is consequently too shallow, put the tank right above the bottom windscreen cowling notch, maintain target alignment, and hold it there to maintain some altitude until you can get closer to a point that will allow you to resume a steeper dive. If your altitude is too low at the point where you should start the dive, you're either going to have to do a quick zoom climb and grab some altitude if you have some energy, or just get closer to the target before you dive. If you take the extra 4 FAB-100s on the wings, you have the additional challenge of having to offset your aim to ensure accurate bomb placement. The wing bombs release left, right in this order. A left wing bomb requires a right side offset and a right wing bomb requires a left side offset. In this example mission, I pick up 18 tank kills with 20 bombs, and at the end, I bag a couple of Panzer 38Ts with the forward firing machine guns. Coming into the target area, I just threw this mission together on the mission editor. I put the tanks on a L-shaped road junction, so there's two different directions to go by. I guess we'll get started on this side. First bomb's going to be a left wing bomb with the right offset. Hit that tank by the tree down there. Looking at it, and diving. Drop. So I'm angling to the right coming off the tank, and when I make my turnaround, I'll make my turnaround to the left at about 1,250 feet. It should put me back in front of the same section of road. Okay. Next bomb is a right wing bomb. Hit this Panther. Drop. My engine settings right now are in the 35 to 36 manifold range, and what have we got? 1900, 2000 on the RPMs. I think I got my outer cowlings almost all the way out. Hit this tank at the end of this fork trail. Drop. That was a left wing bomb. One more wing bomb and we're done. I'll hit that tank right on the north side of that last one I hit. Right wing bomb. That's a very tall tree. Drop. Yeah. I'm a little bit low on altitude. I don't have time to get back up, so you just have to dive in closer. Drop. That was a little bit short. Might have done the trick. Yeah. These FAB 100s, man, it's kind of ridiculous. You don't really have to be that close to these Axis medium tanks to kill them. See, I'll hit that one at the end of that trail on the west side. A little bit low. This is going to be tricky. Drop. Just hit this one in front of this tree on the north side of the last one I hit. Drop. That felt a little bit off the line to the left. We'll see. That was okay. There's a heavy by a tree there. That's going to be a tricky one. Drop. Panther. Looks like a Ferdinand down there in that yellow patch. Just need to grab some altitude. Drop. Uh-oh. Hit in front of the front armor. Was it close enough? Smoking pretty good. Nope, dissipated. Gonna have to hit it again. Drop. Should we hit that other Ferdinand? Teach him a lesson? Yes. Drop. Let's go hit some tanks from back to front on these roads. Drop. Wasn't even close. I'm not sure what happened with that. Oh, the crater of shame. Drop. Yeah, you can't get away with a so-so drop on a Tiger. Definitely not on a Ferdinand. Drop. Looks like a kill. Drop. All right, let's get back to side to side. Hit this one in between two trees here. Drop. Yeah, I'll just hit this one in the open. Normally, tank like that, I just hit it with a shallow angle technique. It's just easier. Drop. Hit that one beside a tree. Drop. Let's try this road over here. Drop. Alright, that should be 19 bomb. This should be bomb number 20, the last one. Hit this tiger. Drop. Alright, let's go find Baby Cream Puff, aka Panzer 38T, and strafe kill it. There's one. Actually, there's another one over there on the left. This is a real shitty angle. Yeah, that probably wasn't good enough. I do love the sound of that machine gun though. I'll hit this one. If I can clear these trees. Shit. Yeah, that wasn't much of a run either. Better than the other one though. Yeah, I don't like hitting two tanks at the same time, because if you kill one, then you might not know which one it is unless it blows up. Yeah, that's better. Coming in a lot higher than last time. That should have been enough to kill that one. We'll see. Here we go. Pretty sure the dead one is the second one. That should have killed that one. This is why I say it's a bad idea to take on two tanks at the same time. I'm not sure which one's dead. Okay, that one on the left's smoking. Okay, well, that's one definitely dead. Must be this one then. Not seeing a kill notice. There we go. A couple of comments here before we close out. I don't know what went wrong on this run here where the bomb impacted short and to the left. I forgot to turn on the game recorder, so I can't check it. It looked to me like I was lined up slightly to the left of the target, but I couldn't identify precisely where that error occurred. And I started this one particular attack dive from really low, around 1,600 feet, instead of the 2,000 to 2,200 I recommend. And there's no excuse for it. I was using too many brain cells looking for that next tank instead of paying attention to my altitude. This was that one tank in the open, and not surprisingly, the bomb was a little short because I hit the bomb release button at the place I always hit it for a normally steeper dive. But I still got the kill because the truth is, when it's an FAB 100 against an Axis medium tank, you don't even have to be that close. If you watch this entire video to this point, you are a true ground attacker, my friend. As always, thanks for watching. Peace out.